Hello, it is Sunday, Thanksgiving Funday? I don't know what to call this because technically I'm filming this on Friday. Yes, I decided to go ahead and deal with it since I had some time to be able to take off from my work. I was like, hey, why don't I go see Bad Santa 2, and I should have up for you on Sunday, Moana. Though, unfortunately, both these are going to just be me, my lonesome. In fact, Moana I am going to see completely by myself because everybody I know is like working at that time. It's like, sad days for me. But oh, yes, I have a new review for you for Bad Santa 2, the completely unnecessary sequel to the film of the first name, Bad Santa. Though I always prefer the Badder Santa, which is, from what I can tell, it was always a little darker with some of its humor, and it was also pushed the edge a lot more. And the studios were like, nah, people don't want to see that. They want to see something more, something called Bad Santa. They want to see it more watered down. I'll say, yeah. So, this movie's not getting any good reviews. That means I'm going to like this, right? Yeah. It's kind of funny. It's been that way for the past few movies. In fact, like Fantastic Beasts were getting mostly rather positive reviews. I didn't like that at all. Arrival, same thing. What was the one before that? That's a bad problem. Some of these movies are starting to kind of pile on top of each other. I'm like, I can't remember that. Oh yeah, Doctor Strange was the week before. Thankfully I was with one that I agreed with the critics. So hey. Yeah, this movie is being called exactly what it is. Unnecessary, filthy, and really perverse. Which makes me wonder, did anybody who reviewed this, did they see the first movie? There is a lot of the very similar humor here. Like, it is incredibly dark in a lot of its ways in which it deals with things, in which it says things, in which how characters act, and all this. Like, there's at one point Kathy Bates is trying to deal with these little kids, and when they're running around, she just trips the first one. They all just fall over each other. She just laughs about it. And I will admit, it's like, this is probably a much more almost cartoony version of the first movie. And honestly, like I've already said, I'm gonna keep repeating myself, this wasn't a movie that really needed to be made. The first movie stood well on its own. In fact, it's one hell of actually good Christmas movie, and it has a good storyline or ending by the end of it all. And you actually feel good about it. This movie kind of undoes that, which is one of the things that kind of bugged me a little at the beginning. But this is supposed to be set like the exact same amount of time frame from the first movie, which is like 13 years or so. Showing that Billy Bob Thornton's still, just a despicable little asshole who just generally just does whatever the hell he wants to. But we do get some actually pretty good comedy, though. That's the one thing, though, that despite the fact that this is just rehashing the first movie in all essence, except for them trying to knock off a mall, they're trying to knock off a charity. Now, why would that put your butt in a seat? Why should you go see this? Honestly, I would say a lot of it has to deal with Billy Bob Thornton and Kathy Bates. Even though it's really weird to have Kathy Bates in this because she's not that much older than Billy Bob Thornton, though, especially considering like they both look kind of rough in this, but they're supposed to be. They have just some of the best chemistry together. They work really well off of each other. I can't remember the little guy's name. I'm sorry. It's going to bother me so much too, and that's the worst part. I'm going to have to do what I normally would do if I have somebody else to help vamp with me. Oh, so, thanks, IMDb. IMDb's like, hey, you want to know about Florence Henderson dying? No, I'm already sad enough about that. Tony Cox, yeah, that's his name. I was like, I know something like not Tyler Cox, something close to that. Yeah, Tony Cox. Him and Billy Bob Thornton still have pretty decent chemistry, though Tony Cox's entire shtick in this is a lot of midget jokes in all essence. But to be honest, they don't feel ever forced, as a midget joke could feel. There are some generally good laughs here and there. There's some good banter between all three your main leads. And hey, they even got the kid from the first one to reprise his role, where he's now 21 years old. It's kind of weird, and it's meant to be really weird, but there's still also kind of an innocence to it that it doesn't quite capture from the first one. Now, that's one of the faults. Is like his character is just, he's meant to be, pretty much, he's supposed to be, special. And that can wear after a while, but thankfully he's very, very small doses. Like, you'll see a little bit of him, then we're going to get back to Billy Bob Thornton and everybody else doing shit. It's actually pretty fun. It's surprising, like, how dark this movie is and how these characters just don't seem to like each other, get along, or anything. And this movie's still, to me, it was a fun little blast of a flick. Again, I don't think this was needed. This was totally not a needed film. But I am glad that by the end of the day, we still have a very decent comedy. We have had so many other movies that I have seen as well this year that have tried to do comedy that aren't that good. Like, I even watched Meet the Blacks recently. Oh my god, it was so painful. And I know that's supposed to be a parody film, sort of, but it's just like it fails on almost every level in terms of trying to be a parody. But that's a whole other discussion for another day. This, on the other hand, it does, like I said, it treads the same ground. It's not entirely necessary. And if I can give any other negative, again, like the kid from the first one, since he has grown up, it makes some of his scenes feel a little too awkward, a little too weird. And I'm not a huge awkward comedy kind of guy. Like cringe. It's like, I can do some cringe, but his cringe is just, it's a little not the right kind of cringe for me. If I want to cringe, I want to be like, ooh, that joke really is kind of not PC. I like those kind of jokes. I don't like the, hey, I'm really weird and creepy. I take my pants off in front of people. Hee hee hee. Like I said, or maybe one other issue might have with this is the fact they really regressed Billy Bob Thornton's character, because by the end of the first one, it seemed like he'd turned his life pretty much around. Maybe he's still going to drink and all that, but he's mostly going to be a nice guy. He's going to try and do the right thing by his own standards, still, of what right and wrong is. Here, they're pretty much like, yeah, screw all that. None of that really mattered. He's kind of still just a dickhole. It's like, alright, cool. But it just helps that you have such a charismatic lead in Billy Bob Thornton. Billy Bob Thornton can actually be really funny if he wants to. He can also really draw your attention constantly with some of his weirder things. He's very Nicolas Cage in that fact. Not quite as, what's the word I'm looking for? Not quite as emotive with his face as Nicolas Cage can be, though Billy Bob Thornton can be very emotive at times. It's fun to see him, do what he does. There's, like I said, there are actually some legitimately really laugh out loud parts, or parts where I was just like taking a drink and just like, oh, that's not what I was totally expecting was going to happen. There were some actually kind of little surprises in terms of where the jokes went. I was surprised where they ended the movie at. I'm not going to try and spoil it, just because I don't feel like this needs to be a movie you can spoil. That'll be fair, you can kind of guess where it's going to go. Oh, you might think that, it does try to push you, but then it goes the straight route you were figuring it was going to go anyway. Let's see, what else can I say that's actually good about it? Well, like I said, Kathy Bates is actually really funny in this, and you can kind of get why Billy Bob Thornton hates her guts. And legitimately, like I said, them two, they work together well. They constantly, their shit they say to each other, and just how despicable they treat each other or cheat each other. is actually really funny and really good. It's one of the few. It's one of the times where I can say it's like, even though this is a predictable in its own way movie, they're working together really does just bring this awesome thing to life. It's similar to like Central Intelligence, where Central Intelligence I thought was actually a pretty funny movie, a pretty good movie in terms of the comedy and all that, even though all of it you could see coming a mile away. But that's because you had The Rock being just that big old happy puppy dog that he was, and then you also had Kevin Hart being kind of cynic that he was in that movie, working rather well together. Here you have two cynics and it should clash horribly, but instead you have them actually working together. Jump cut. Yeah, this thing decided that it's not going to be a video without her making me have to do a jump cut because she wants back in. Oh, but yeah, like I said, two cynics actually shouldn't be working. It's like two wrongs shouldn't make it right, but it feels like it does this way. Maybe it helps that Tony Cox is used just like he was in the other one to pretty much make fun of Billy Bob Thornton, and for him to have, you know, a few midget jokes and sometimes a few kind of not really racist jokes, but, you know, just kind of making fun of him. Like, I did actually legitimately laugh at the joke when he kind of makes fun of how big his dick is. He's like, oh, they call me tripod in prison. And Billy Bob's like, well, if you have 6-inch legs, it's not really much to brag about if you got another 6 inches. If you're 6'2", then you have something to brag about. Alright, that one was kind of funny to me. I'm simple sometimes with my humor. A decent fart joke I can laugh at. You know, as long as it has a decent build to it. Or if it's just completely out of left field, but it fits the tone the movie's really been going for. Yes, like I said, I guess all three of them working together really just made for a good comedy. Is this the best comedy of all year? No. It really... Pardon me, hiccup there. It really is not the best comedy in the world. Like I said, there's still... It feels like too much of a step back from his character. Not like you're going to sit there and invest a whole lot of time in the characters of a comedy. No offense. I love comedy as much as the next person. It's like, we don't all watch Animal House just so we can see the wonder of Bluto's character there. Let's see what his character arc goes through. He goes from the mustard arc all the way to the pirate arc. But yeah, but a good comedy doesn't always need to rely upon that. It does help if it can be a little surprising with some of its humor, which is the reason why I think this is slightly funnier than Central Intelligence, even though, again, it's just about as predictable. Even though this is also has the other like I said, it's not a needed movie. It's an unnecessary sequel, but at least it's a fun sequel. I will say that much. This is one of those sequels where, yeah, you can tell they pretty much just wanted to make a quick buck on this. So like, here, let's put this together, let's just put it out. Alright, cool, let's go and do it. But it never felt like that from the actors. It more felt like that from, I guess you could say, production design, but if you're watching a movie like this from production design, what the hell are you on? I mean, this is a movie where Billy Bob Thornton's way of getting a key from a woman so that way they could get into this one area to shut off an alarm is he's going to surprise her by giving her anal sex. She's like, oh! And it's actually really funny. He's just her whole reaction with the whole thing. But yeah, like I said, it is funny, actually. That is the one thing. Sure, there's going to be a lot of humor that's going to be a little too goofy, I guess. Because there's sometimes where you're like, okay, that's just trying to be goofy for goofy's sake. Which makes it worse than the other one. Because the other one was just trying to be dark and just have fun. But still, like I said, I enjoyed myself throughout this whole thing. Maybe like the first minute half, I was a little, is this going to be good? I had that feeling because nobody's been reviewing this for a while. And then I start smiling because some of the things that happened, some things Billy Bob Thornton was saying. And then I gave in this whole thing. And I enjoyed myself throughout the entire run of this movie. It's only an hour and a half long, too. So, I mean, you can't beat that. An hour and a half, boom. This movie breezed by, too. It didn't feel like, oh, I'm just sitting here. Please get over. Because when an hour and a half comedy is not funny, ooh, does it feel long. But if, to sum it all up, because I don't want to sit here and try and talk with you about every joke I liked and laughed at, because then I'm just ruining it for you. And I would say if you are interested in it, go see this movie. I will say it doesn't feel quite as Christmassy as the first one, but I still think there's enough of that spirit there that you would watch and still feel a little twinge in your dark heart. You'll feel a little happiness come from within you. Yeah, if I can give this a final rating, the biggest problem is this is one of the few times I think a half score would actually make sense, because this is really a 7.5 movie. There is enough against it that it's not a full 8. But damn it, I'm not going to go that route and puss out now. So, this is an 8. Really, it's not quite an 8, but it's too close to an 8 it's closer to an 8 than it is a 7. That's my cat. She distracts me all the time. AD's like, yeah, this is much closer to an 8 than it is a 7. I know it's not a necessary film. I know it's dirty, it's raunchy and everything, but it's the right kind of dirty and raunchy that I wanted. This is exactly the kind of movie that I was thinking I was going in for, and it's mostly what I got. If I could have any things I would say, it's like, this is not needed, but it's fun still. But to be fair, you could say that about a lot of different movies. We don't need a whole lot of sequels to movies that didn't need sequels that were at least decent. Like Terminator 3. People really shit on that movie. It's like, it's not good, or it's not great, but it's okay. It's like a 6 or 7. I mean, it's a decent movie. If you just take out the fact that Terminator 2 said no, then none of this will happen. You just gotta ignore that little, whoopsies. So yeah, Bad Santa 2. If you feel like you want to watch a decent kind of Christmas movie when you're not out trying to run over grandmothers when they're trying to get the best deals or anything like that, I'd say go see this. It's worth the watch. You're not going to feel like your life is completely changed, but I think you're going to enjoy yourself during it, and that's all we need movies for. Especially around this time of year, whenever too many people are more focused upon things such as buying presents and all this and that, and less worried about trying to spend time with each other. Whenever we're focused more on the purchasing aspect of it all and less on the actual being able to spend time with the people you love, this movie can touch your dark heart a little bit. Even though it actually really does not touch upon any of that. Just, I think it'll give you at least a chuckle. Be like, alright, that kind of lightened my mood. I mean, even though like I said, it's a dark comedy movie. So yeah, that's Bad Santa 2. Go see it if you want to get away from the crowds for a little bit, or go see it because you want to laugh, because it's worth the laugh, I would say that much. Unless you were just a complete prude, you're going to laugh at a number of jokes here. There's too much it's not fun. Too much for it to not be funny. So yeah, Sunday I should have up for y'all Moana. Hopefully this should be up late Friday. If not, it should be up Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon, depending upon when I get up. I should finish the upload and everything by then. Or I might set it to auto upload about Saturday or something like that. I don't know. I'll decide. So, hey, I will see you all Sunday with Moana, and hopefully that one's decent. Like I said, I want everything just from this point onwards just be decent. I'm tired of crap. It's been a good summer, and it was a good fall, and now it's starting to turn to bad winter. Oh, but I will see you all Sunday with Moana. Bye-bye, everybody.